So I'm guessing you must have seen the movie, and you must have also seen the gazillion reviews that came out saying why this movie is not good. But in this video of mine, I'm just going to tell you how this movie impacted me differently and what I liked about it. So hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, then hi. This is the Storyteller, and over here we review stories in the form of doodling, and if that's something that excites you, do not forget to hit the subscribe button. In this review, I am not going to be talking about anything technical, but I'm just going to speak from my heart to yours. So this is honestly keeping the small me in mind, the one who is super obsessed with the story of Cinderella. But today we're going to be talking about the 2021 movie directed by Kay Cannon and having a beautiful star cast of Camila Cabello, Nicholas, and many more. Growing up, I used to read a lot of books, most of which were of the Disney princesses, which were super famous back then. And one among my favorites was Cinderella. Story of a girl who used to be poor in her rags and, who used to have an evil family of stepmother and stepsisters. And one day a fairy godmother comes, waves her wand, and then she gets into a beautiful dress. The prince sees her in the beautiful dress at the ball, falls in love with her, but the clock strikes midnight, the magic wears off, and she runs, but she leaves her glass slipper. Prince then tries to find her in the entire town and finally finds her, marries her, and lives happily ever after. Sounds like a beautiful story, right? But this had a lot of huge impacts on me while growing up. Like, for example, I always used to think there's going to be a Prince Charming that's going to be the solution to all my problems. I often used to think of why the prince never remembered her. Was it because she dressed too much? I mean, does that mean that I always have to look my best in order for someone to remember me? I mean, do you see the problem with that thought coming to a small young girl? Not to mention that these stories are the root cause for me to believe that stepmothers are extremely cruel, while not all of them are. And these Disney stories did make me obsess over love stories, but it also made me realize one important thing, that the rich or poor, I deserve to be treated like a princess. With respect, yo. You see, kids of my age back then used to learn and obsess over these movies, and everything around us reminded us that we needed to be like these princesses. I mean, do you guys remember the time when all the backpacks and the tiffin boxes and everything you could probably buy were of these Disney characters? And not to mention fancy dress competitions where you're dressed up in like such big extravagant dresses bigger than you just to win a competition. You see, that's the impact we had on us as kids, and this is what I grew up with. So seeing such a refreshing version of the same movie is such a huge win for these kids. This new version of Cinderella not just questions patriarchy, but also the normal conditioned thoughts that we've always had. I mean, here we have a Cinderella who has a passion. She wants to do something in life. She dresses up and goes to the ball only to get more business for her existing passion, not to just go and dance and marry the prince. Not to mention when she actually says that she chooses herself over the royal prince. Oof. But my absolute favorite was having a guy play the role of the fairy godmother. Oh my god, this was so beautiful. And that awesome moment when Princess Gwen is declared the successor. I mean, she truly deserves it. This movie again surprises us with showing the nicer side of a stepmother who's not cruel. And finally, we have a Cinderella who mocks the glass slipper and says it on the face that it's so freaking uncomfortable. Thank you for challenging and mocking thoughts that we've already had. And this is the very reason why I loved the movie. I mean, if my smaller self had seen this movie, I'm pretty sure I would have grown up with different values in my head. You see, stories can thereby create such a huge impact, and it's not just about one particular city or location. It is relatable all across the globe. I can state out so many examples. Women dressing up and going to the ball to find a guy is similar to how we have the girls dressing up to meet the guy side of the family in an arranged marriage setup. Yes, the key to finding the perfect husband is to just look nice. Or like how in the movie the boy is pressurized to be the king. Same way, boys are pressurized by the society in everywhere so that they can get a good job, not to sustain themselves, but to attract a good bride. Women being leaders is still not a digestible topic to many people. I mean, when we see a woman contesting for elections, the amount of crap said to her is beyond words. And lastly, how moms find it so difficult to encourage their girl children in this world because they somehow know how difficult it is for women, and it's sad. I I mean, a lot of this is changing. Definitely 40-50% of the people are changing every single day. But you see how a Western movie is still so relatable to us? Back then, if we had this movie, it would have changed a lot of people's perceptions. Of course, that doesn't mean that this movie does not have any negatives. There are. I mean, there are a million adaptations to the original story of Cinderella, but I haven't seen all of them. And the one that I have, it was a princess fantasy story with a modern twist, which I really liked, you see. But that being said, there's a lot of singing. It is a musical, and I'm not really a musical fan. But you see, the story is what impacted me, and the story is what matters to the storyteller. So I'm not gonna give this movie any stars because this is a review that I said from my heart, something very, very close to me. If all that I've said till now interests you on some level, do watch it, it'll help you. If not, please suggest it to some small kid you know, your siblings, your nieces, nephews, any child. Because trust me, this is a good movie for them, especially when they're growing up. And that's all you need to do. I'll see you guys on Tuesday with a new suggestion of yours. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you guys soon with lots of love. It's your storyteller. Bye!